Yo, what's up, folks? This Impact, and I want to take this time to welcome you all back to the Hurt Business 101. Let's get right into this video, man. Today's video, I want to discuss this topic surrounding Tszyu possibly not fighting Terrence Crawford next should he get past Sebastian Fundora and taking on Earl Spence Jr. first. Let's get right into this video. Listen up. Before I get into the content, I just want to thank everybody who subscribed lately. The numbers are coming up slowly but surely. I'm encouraged by it. Please, if you're watching this video or you like my videos, any of my videos, please subscribe to the channel. It's absolutely free. Hit that bell icon so you can be notified whenever I drop new content. Let's go. Listen up, man. I decided to speak on this because I think we as a boxing community should talk about it, but we should talk about it in a proper perspective. And my angle for this video is going to be this. Right now, as it stands, I want to pay Tszyu the proper respect of respecting the fact that he has a tough opponent in front of him. And just because I make a prediction and it may seem like I believe this is just an easy fight, trust me, it's not. He has to go from preparing for a 5'8" fighter going to a 6'5.5" fighter with a lot of volume, a lot of height. So, I picked him to win the fight, and I already explained why I think he's going to win the fight. But I do believe he needs to focus on this fight. But we're going to discuss it. Listen, right now, I'm going to give Tszyu the benefit of the doubt, and I believe he's earned that. I'm not a guy who picks sides. I already said that 1,000 times. But the fighters who show me a pattern, like in his young career, he's beginning to show me a pattern that warrants me giving him the benefit of doubt. Listen, because sometimes we jump to conclusions. Like, it seems like a lot of people are putting something on Tszyu at this point that he hasn't shown us a pattern of, and he hasn't even done it. So we're almost like pre-blaming him for something he hasn't even done yet. That's number one. Number two, his manager said that he thought that was the best way to go and that they could possibly do that. Tszyu hasn't spoken of giving him his belts up. And even if he had mentioned it, I'm going to judge him by what ultimately happens. And this is what I want to say. There's a lot of fighters who fall into this thing of the belts don't matter. I'll just give my belt up to go maneuver this way and go maneuver that way. And first of all, I want to speak to all my fans, all my subscribers from Australia, and all the fans of Tszyu from Australia. Listen, you guys, first of all, this video I'm making, I want y'all to share this with every social media boxing platform y'all have over there in Australia, because this is what the people need to hear. So far, what I've seen from a lot of the fighters from down under, and I'm not, knocking any fighters from anywhere else. Hell, I live in America. So, you know what I mean? So I'm not down anybody else. I'm just speaking about the guys from down under. Tszyu so far has not been reluctant to accept any challenges under any circumstances. Even, and not just Australia, New Zealand, Joseph Parker. Look at how Joseph Parker is moving. Joseph Parker, he fought against Anthony Joshua. He lost. He had no problems coming back. He fought against Joe Joyce. Got stopped by Joe Joyce. Joe Joyce turned around and went another direction. He then got in the ring with Big Bang Zhang after Big Bang Zhang just stopped Joe Joyce twice. Joseph Parker said no problem, got in the ring with Big Bang Zhang, and decided to go back in the ring with him for a rematch. He also just fought Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder. Devastating puncher, one of the most devastating punchers in the history of boxing. Joseph Parker was willing to do that. Joseph Parker is also, like I said, ready to fight Big Bang Zhang again, and he also wants to fight the winner of Usyk and Fury. Listen, so the guys from down under, even Joe Horn. Joe Horn got in the ring with Manny Pacquiao. He got in the ring with Manny Pacquiao twice. He got I'm not sure. I think they rematched, or I'm not sure if they rematched. I just remember he fought Manny Pacquiao. Then he was willing to get in there with Terrence Crawford. And then he turned around and also got in there with Tim Tszyu, another dangerous guy to fight. You know what I'm saying? You look at George Kambosos, he got in the ring, defeated Teofimo Lopez. Teofimo Lopez, he offered Teofimo Lopez a rematch. Teofimo Lopez dismissed the rematch. He didn't even want it. He then went and got in the ring with Devin Haney twice, lost both of those fights. It is what it is. Losses come when you're fighting the best guys. And now he's about to get in the ring again with Vasily Lomachenko. So what I'm saying is, you fans from over there in Australia, New Zealand, keep on doing what y'all doing as far as supporting your fighters, even if they take a loss. A lot of other fan bases need to adopt that mentality. And I want y'all to spread this. Tim Tszyu, spread this to anybody who can get it to Tim Tszyu if you got that kind of pull, because I don't. But Tim Tszyu's manager saying it, and I'm going to speak to Tim Tszyu. Do not let a manager that's interested in trying to navigate in his best interest get in your way of pursuing greatness. Because from what I'm watching from Tim Tszyu wants to achieve greatness. He's been stepping in and saying, whatever, let's go to any challenge. For them to try to convince Tim Tszyu that there's more money in a Earl Spence fight, therefore it's worth him facing Earl Spence, who just was obliterated by Terrence Crawford, has not gotten back in the ring yet to at least put himself back in a positive light with the fans, showing a victory good enough to prove to everybody that he's a worthy opponent. Other than his name and his past track record, he's been through a lot. So for them to try to convince Tim Tszyu that that's the best option to go, other than going against the guy who's regarded as the pound for pound best fighter in boxing today, Terrence Crawford, is absolutely ridiculous. Is his manager trying to say he doesn't have the faith in Tim Tszyu, that Tim Tszyu can get by him? But guess what? Regardless if Tim Tszyu was to take a loss to Terrence Crawford or not, I don't care. I'll still be a fan of Tim Tszyu, because guess what? And I'm sure the fans in Australia is going to just lift them up, and Tim Tszyu had an opportunity to bounce right back, and the Earl Spence fight will still be there. If he's to forfeit his belt that he earned, he worked so hard to get, he forfeit his belt just to fight Earl Spence, Terrence Crawford is on his way out. You got one shot at possibly getting to Terrence Crawford. Try to defeat him. That would do so much for your legacy if you beat Terrence Crawford and Terrence Crawford retires off into the sunset after the victory and after the track record that Terrence Crawford and the respect that he's garnered through boxing for his accomplishments. If you was able to get past him, even if you lose, get in there and give him a tooth and nail battle to the very end. That would do wonders for your legacy. On top of that, I'm not sure that Earl Spence earns him more money than a Terrence Crawford fight, if we even want to think about money. Because right now, people are low on Earl Spence. Terrence Crawford is right now, in my estimation, a bigger draw than Earl Spence, until Earl Spence gets in there and shows us that he's still that guy that garners the money. People want to see you fight. You undefeated, been destroying people. Terrence Crawford, undefeated, been destroying people. People want to see Tim Tszyu get in there. Okay, right now they want to see Tim Tszyu and Terrence Crawford. If Tim Tszyu gets past Sebastian Fundora, which I really believe he will. So what I'm saying is, Tim Tszyu, don't try to fit in, fit out. Boxing is going to shit. And you could be part of the issue that boxing has, or you could be remembered as one of the guys who spearheaded the movement to change this whole thing around. Because in my eyes, you already are a part of that. And then guess what? If he was to take the Spence fight, I would come back here and talk about it and talk about how it was a bad move, but I wouldn't turn my back on Tim Tszyu. because his story, he's still a young fighter, and his story isn't fully written. He still has a lot of time ahead of him to make his legacy great regardless. But when you got the opportunity to go for boxing immortality, the belts, along with the reputation of being the guy who slayed Terrence Crawford or gave Terrence Crawford his toughest fight so far, because Terrence Crawford really hasn't had a tough fight. Tszyu, that would go a long way. Keep on being the warrior you are. If you got a greedy, inept, ignorant manager that wants to try to disturb you in any other way other than pursuing glory, don't listen to him. Take control of your career right now. The moment you start letting these guys in the politics of boxing, because y'all both PBC fighters, get in the way of your glory, your legacy is the one that's being affected, not theirs. They go on to manage the next guy. They go on to promote the next guy up. Boxing is one corrupt. What have you done for me lately? Forgets about everything that you've done and built. This sport will drop you and talk about the next guy. You just go ask some of these other great fighters that everybody cheered for and applauded. And when they lost, they said, oh, this guy's no good no more, on to the next. Tszyu, that's not you. So far, what you've shown me, continue to do exactly what you're doing and chase greatness. Do not allow snakes and guys that have their best interests, not yours, navigate your career in a way that they see fit, when us, the boxing fans, respect the way you're moving right now. That's all I got for now, folks. I just want to thank y'all for listening in to this edition of the Hurt Business 101. You know what they say. It's no business like show business, but I say it's no business like the hurt business. 1-0-1, done.